down the hammer and pick up the pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show. Learn from real-life real estate investors, experience revealed with the Savvy Landlord as your host.
Hey, this is your friend Steve VanCauwenbergh. What's going down? It feels like eternity for real. The last time I dropped on this microphone, and it's fabulous to get back. Every time I try to do this, there's always an excuse in my head, or there's always something else to be done, or I'm over analyzing. Is this good enough content for you to get inspired, go to the next level, be the best you can be? And so I'm done with all that madness. I'm just going to start dropping stuff at random because I just need to keep going. We're at 755 podcasts. Isn't that just epic? I mean, 5 years, I think, in the making, and it's just an interesting journey. If you've ever listened to my previous podcast, there's some emotional ones on there. There's some life change ones. There's some pain, but that's just life. It's a journey, and it's not about being a millionaire or making more money or doing another deal, or even there's some folks out there just too cheap to experience all that life has for you. And my goal here today is to encourage you to write your goals down, to be a better person, and also take this time at the end of the year to reflect. Where have you been? Where are you going? And there's just amazing opportunity ahead. So take that with a grain of salt. And so let's dive into number 755. First of all, my life has been upside down like for the last 2 years of craziness, but I have some highlights, some reality, and then we're going to dive into business plans, I think, that are important, and start doing this now. Anyway, the Chiba Hut toasted subs, if you listen to podcast number 753, I kind of just touched on it briefly. There's so much detail, so much just gooey details of just growth. But we have hit a milestone. Our first week, $87,000 in gross revenue, record-breaking for the Chiba Corporation, for HQ. And honestly, it's not us. It's not Oklahoma City. It's the folks that have paved the way before we even got to be franchise owners. And my partner, Rose Taylor, she's just murdered it, crushed it. Systems operations, just an honor to be a part of the quality team that we have in place. But we have great things in store. We're already this week giving back to the community, to foster homes. We did 2 nights, or we have another night coming up. Just watch us on Facebook. We're Uptown Chiba, Oklahoma, and great things are coming. Also, another thing in my world, if it makes anything to you, but there has been a life change in critical mass in a lot of ways. One is a most powerful book. I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but all my OGs, the folks that I roll with, it's almost a prerequisite if you're a boy in my world to read No More Mr. Nice Guy. It is a book by Robert Glover. If you struggle at all with about people pleasing and just need masculinity in your world, then that's the book. It is powerful. It is gut-wrenching at times, and there's a lot of me in there. And it has truly transformed me, and a bunch of homies in my world have become better men and better leaders. And after reading that book, not only that just taught me how to just think differently, but also take no nonsense and just walk as in the level of authority that has been allowed or commissioned to me as a leader, and becoming a better leader. So that has been a whirlwind. And if anything I just said right there in the last 10 seconds motivated you in any way, go get the book, No More Mr. Nice Guy. It's pretty strong. Some folks can't hang, but if you want to kind of turn that corner of manhood, and someone told me this that was very incredible. One of my homeboys, he read the book. He was like, "That's me. We need to rally together as men. We need to do more strength building, poker nights, lifting weights, more shooting guns, and these things that we've put to the side." But the one thing that my homeboy said to me that really just rocked my core, he said, I want to do this for my son. I want to become a better man, a better leader, so I can lead him in the right way. I mean, damn, that was fire. Like, I'm over here broken, trying to figure it out. OG VanCauwenbergh, and my homeboy to the side is like, yeah, I want to do this too with you, but you got some folks, you got some future that we need to think of. So if you struggle at all with being Mr. Nice Guy, or just kind of being just too nice, you got to get the book. Anyway, on top of that, I've been dealing with some folks that have been defaulting loans on me. Yes, it happens. And even folks that you know and you love, and you unconsciously could not believe that this would ever happen. It has happened to the degree where it's caused drama in their own life and damage in my life. But I could tell you right now, you need to rise above. And dollars don't equal feelings or emotions. They're tools to move forward. So there's a lot more jazz in here, but that's just where I'm at right now. That's why I'm a little slow roll. And I've changed circles. I have moved into a different friend group, and I have been navigating through that, and it's been an experience of a lifetime, and I'm honored to be accepted by people that just accept people unconditionally. And it's not all about real estate, and it's not all about making money. It's just living life to the fullest and going out there and doing the simplistic things like riding a bike and hiking or taking a walk or just appreciating the small things. And I just really realized that there is a whole other world out there that I think a lot of us are missing out on. We're focused on the next asset, or we're focused on the next acquisition, or whatever the case may be, or business. There's this, sometimes you just need to slow down and enjoy the situation, enjoy your fruits of your labor, and it's okay. And you can kind of reconvene at a later time. And me personally, right now in December, I don't think I've ever been so motivated to write my goals down, to review my goals on a daily basis, morning and night, and just read life-changing material. And the book that I'm in right now is called Maximum Achievement. It's fire. It's reprogramming me. And it's one of these original books that took me to this level. And sometimes you have to go back and revisit, how'd you get here? Why? And you should accept the challenge that you're here for a specific reason, and there's more ahead of you. So let's move right into why we're having today. Today is kind of like a business plan preface, whatever you want to call it, depending on what hood you're from. But the goal here is kind of like you need to start thinking about a business plan. And I know it sounds cliche, and there's a lot of people that have made businesses just on a napkin, been there, done that. And as I've learned and some successes, I've sold some businesses, and I have failed in a lot of businesses, and I've lost money and I've gained. One thing I can tell you for sure, man, if you write it down at all, your odds of succeeding are just tenfold. And so I just want you to understand that you need to start writing stuff down. Only 3% of the world, America, whatever, write their goals down, which is unbelievable. And the same statistic is they don't even have a library card and it's free. Don't be that sucker. Don't be that fool that doesn't write it down. You're too cool for school. You have it up here in your head. And another homeboy just told me, he's like, Stephen, it's interesting. When I write these goals down, random, they come into reality. And sometimes we're just afraid of success. We're afraid. But I can tell you, I just built Chiba with a wonderful process, and it's because we had a plan in place. Now, granted, we are a franchise. The franchise has opened up 70 stores prior, but still, there is a plan, and your job as an entrepreneur, a hustler, whatever you want to call yourself, is an executor. You need to execute. You can't execute if you don't have a plan. So, you got me? I know I'm trying to drill this into your head, but just listen. A business plan is a detailed roadmap of your future. If you don't have it down, you don't know where you're going. You know all these cliches. You get in a car and then you can end up in Tokyo or whatever. I mean, I guess you couldn't in your car. But you feel me? You've got to have, it's essential. It's a requirement. If you want to get money, not even from the bank, if you called me and said, hey, I need to borrow some private money, listen, I'm going to ask you for a comprehensive guide your goals, your strategies, your financial projections. You need $100,000 to remodel a house. Okay, what are you going to do with the money? Okay, you got $60,000 in the acquisition or $80,000 in the acquisition. You got $10,000 in remodel. What about holding costs? These key factors you need to know so you can stay focused, laser focused, and stay on track and get the ball going. So we're just going to go some basic materials. You can Google this up yourself on your own, but here's some basic components. You need to have a summary. What's a brief overview of what you're trying to accomplish? What's your mission, your vision, your key goals? Like you could do sprints. In 6 months, I wanted to do this, but like, what's the overall mission of what you're trying to accomplish? You want to get into your description of your company. What's your background? Why should I loan you money? You don't come out and say that, but my background, music industry is my background. I was a mobile DJ. I was a promoter. Yes, I was in the bridal industry. I used those skill sets at a young age to convert those into a new endeavor. Or if I'm doing an apartment building and I have flipped X amount of houses, what's the description? And then find the next thing in a business plan is like your market research. What does it look like? What's the need? What's the trend? And what's the competitive landscape? And how are you going to crush that? So, I love doing these business plans for the bridal industry when I was working in that industry. And I was just awestruck by billions of dollars are spent annually in the wedding business. People spend ungodly money on their cake, on their wedding dress, on the napkins, on the invitations. And when you spoon all that up, when you aggregate all that information, it's billions of dollars. So when I roll out a sales presentation for a vendor or a sponsor for my event, it's $1 billion industry. We're just chasing after a very small portion of it. So do research on what industry you're getting into, kind of understand the industry and be prepared. If you're seeking an angel investor or you're seeking someone to assist you or a partner, make sure you're fully reversed on all the information so you can execute. Now, how about the staff, your leadership? What does your organizational structure look like? This is interesting. When I did a development over in Midwest City, I was building a bike park. And I was raising funds. I had a lot of meetings with the city for permitting and so on and so forth. And I know the deal success that the city was my organizational structure, my leadership team. I had, bam, this guy from Chesapeake Oil. Bam, I had this attorney. Bam, I had this accountant. P3 accounting, and I had this team assembled before we even executed. And I can go on. If this is something that just struck a chord in you, I could tell you I want to interview these folks. It's Tacco Construction, how they got, I just utilized their business for to build Chiba, and how they built their business from the beginning. They went ballistic and built a solid, strong leadership team and got the very best in each segment, industry, and assembled and just executed. It's off the charts. They probably had a business plan. The next thing is, what's your product or service line? What are you trying to sell? What's the information about the product? What's the benefits? How is it going to benefit, or how is your market going to receive it? Is the customer really need it? And back to that bike park, it sounded all fabulous. And yes, I was working with the city, and I had assembled this amazing team, and I probably spent 40, 60, maybe 80 hours producing the pitch deck. And I'm down to recruiting certain key people, elements. One was a bike mechanic that we was going to have on location for this bike park. So I went and interviewed the lead bike mechanic at REI Sporting Goods in Oklahoma City. And I'm like, okay, man, we're building this bike park. It's going to be epic. It's going to be off the charts. And the guy was like, bro. I'm like, yeah. He's like, why would I pay money to ride my bike? And I was like, the whole premise of the business plan is that people are going to pay us $12 in the middle of the winter to ride their bike on these jumps. And there's going to be events and expos and birthday parties. And it's going to be, he's like, why would I do that when I can just spend $25 and drive all the way to the most epic center, Bentonville, Arkansas, where it has thousands of trails. I mean, hundreds of miles of trails. And see, where I went wrong is like my product line, wasn't in tune to the actual end user. There's so many free trails. How could I compete with that? And so the sad thing is all that 80 hours of work I had to shut down, even though I had somewhat of a business plan, but I didn't spend enough time on the service line, on the product. The next thing, one of my faves, is marketing and sales strategy. Boop, boop. That's right. Marketing and sales. Nothing happens until a sale is made. Until I can convince someone to hand over their cash, it's a pipe dream. And I remember my mom, rest in peace, OG VanCauwenbergh, my mom, straight entrepreneur, hustler from the jump. She was, Steven, I got an idea. I'm going to be rich. I'm like, yeah, okay. I got these bumper stickers. She would come up with these bumper stickers and they were fire. I mean, I would put them on my car. And then she'd come up with another bumper sticker. I'm like, Mom, listen, here's the deal. I'll give you X amount of money to print these bumper stickers and then you're going to get rich. But before I hand you the dollars, go make a sale. Convince someone to hand over their $3, $5, or $10 on a pre-sale. What? That's exactly what you need to do. If you want to know if your product or service is going to be a home run, then convince someone to give you money before you even deliver the product. I mean, that's the future. That's what I see now with crowdfunding and Kickstarter, Indiegogo. It is like they're getting all these people to give them all the money before they even manufacture the product. Ingenious. Risks on both sides. But if you know the product or service was off the charts and you had social proof right out the gate. So my mom, a week later, my mom could not make a sale. It wasn't strong enough for someone to fork over $3 for a pre-sold bumper sticker. What is your sales strategy? Who are you going after? How can you do the presentation? And what's the benefit for them? How will you promote and sell the products or services? Now, here's another thing that I wish I would have learned young is financial projections. I'm telling you where I'm at today at 51. Someone reminded me the other day. Go ahead, Z. You reminded me. But anyway, is you've got to forecast revenue, profit, and expenses. I mean, most of my time on a daily basis is in this section. Is projections. Not, I used to do this a lot in performas and real estate, man, buying distressed property. And, this is the value play. I'm going to take this 300,000. It's going to convert into this, projection, project performance. Man, there's more to that. There's rate of returns. And there's these variables called expenses. And especially in the restaurant business when we have waste, we have theft, we have mistakes, and these are variables that I can tell you exactly what it's going to cost to remodel a property. It's even boiled down. A lot of my homeboys have it boiled down to the square footage per dollar per square foot. Fabulous key of success. But in other businesses, they could be variables. So really invest in financial projections. Understand this section. What does it look like? You can get really excited and you can get really blinded by the emotions of, oh man, I'm going to be rich because I'm going to make all these sales. Like I just told you, we made $87,000 the first week. Come on, man. And even when I'm talking to the general manager down there and hyping them up, look, we can't do anything until we get 6 months of some sort of a consistency. And probably, honestly, when I'm searching for another location, raising more funds, another $1 million, and if I go to the bank, they want to see 24 months of historical data. Now, in real estate, rule of thumb, it's 6 months, but in a restaurant business, there's a lot of variables: weather, timing, holidays. You feel me? And then at the end of this business plan is your funding request. I see this all the time. People have great ideas, but they don't explain what's the call to action. What are you trying to accomplish here? What type of seeking investment are you? A debt seeking player, investment? Is it an equity play? And then what does it outline, and what's their benefit for them if they give you money? The banker. My favorite thing, a tip, I may have said this before, and I had lunch with some powerful bankers of the day. And if anytime someone gives me money and I'm spending their money on an investment, my favorite thing to do on the planet Earth is text them and say, this is where your money's going. Here's the new sewer line I just installed. I just finished this rehab, or I just hired this new, and I'm keeping them abreast to what's going on and that they're a part of this success, of this journey together. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. And so that's the least I think you can do. I've always heard that people that borrow money, they never interact until the end, and then they try to give them a quantification of, this is your rate of return on your money. You give me $100,000, you made 10%, you got 12% return in a certain amount of time, or blah, 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 blah. Some people don't even need to see that. Some people invest in you because they believe in you, that you have a vision and a dream, and they may or may not have that, but they want to be a part of your success. So make sure when you're considering putting together a business plan, make sure you have all those elements. So let's just go over it real quick. You got to have a summary. You got to have a company description. You got to do some market research. You got to have assembled the team, organizational and management. What's your product or your service line? Marketing and sales strategy, projections, and ask for the money. Beep, beep. The funding request. So why is it so important to have a business plan? Good question, homeboy or homegirl. You got to have clarity. I'm telling you, it forces you to think critically, and it also touches those things. Like I threw that bike park together, that development, because I was just always interested in doing developments. But I'm telling you, I did not spend a lot of time working on my business plan. It was kind of whipped together. And then I got hammered at the last minute. So I don't know if I wasted 8 hours, but I did lose a lot of money, hiring a few architects, burning up a lot of my homeboys' time. I need clarity. You need clarity, your goals, strategies, your challenges, and how you're going to overcome it. You could use this business plan for direction. Man, I'm telling you, that's how you do it. It provides a roadmap of clarity to guiding your decisions. You've got to have this. It's also prepared for attracting investments. You have your together. You feel me? You have a solid business plan that they can get excited on, and have them poke holes at it. It's okay. I love my clients, my students, whatever you want to call the people that pay me to coach them. They send me this stuff and I just murder it for them. And I know it's a little sensitive, but I'm telling you, when they get over the hump of that little criticism, I'm like, dude, where is the call to action? Why would I give you $100,000 for what reason? What is it? And it kind of stings them. And I'm a little abrupt to there, but I got to shake that tree so they can become better. Also, with your business plan, hopefully you do this. You have like that, like I said earlier, you have this 90-day sprint, 60-day sprint. What is 6 months? Phase 1, phase 2, these words, these benchmarking progress. On this day, I'm telling you, with the restaurant, we were going through this, it was off the charts. When this happens, this happens. This is funded, this happens. When this happens, this happens. You got to have progress. You got to have accountability. You know this, you've heard this. If you don't have accountability, you can't mark it, you can't measure it. You're never going to have a return on it. And then, identify your potential risks up front, okay? Risk management. What's your contingency plan? These are just things that I work on a regular basis, and I can go on to this and even more in depth. There's, you could probably find even more better stuff and roadmaps and mind mapping templates, all for free online. It's powerful. So what are you waiting on? Go do it. Anyway, I'm just excited to be back on a microphone. I hope this enlightens you. I hope that you're motivated. I hope that you reach out and say, yo, homeboy, you touched me. And let's be friends, okay? Go to savvyinvestors.com, hit the subscribe button, type in your email. Let's connect. Text me directly. My phone number's on there somewhere. Let me know what you need help with, and let's conquer this together. Let's get a rate of return on ROI. Anyway, again, my name is Steve VanCauwenbergh. They call me Savvy, whatever. What do they call you? An executor. Go execute.
Thanks for listening to the Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at savvyradioshow.com. Connect on Twitter @LandlordBook and always be buying assets.